Just say no. Cast a big vote no.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Buddy and my partner, Charlie, from the 3%. I'm Dana B. And of course, you know, we are Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries. We're the 3% here in Frederick County in the Valley, all over Virginia. And our mission, as you guys know, is to bring as much information as we can and viewpoints from all over the state and from all over the country. And today we have the opportunity to talk to Buddy, who's down there towards Goochland, who does a lot of the same stuff that we do. And we're going to talk about a little bit about how we got started, what got us into this fight, uh, what ideas that we have, and hopefully we can get more of you Patriots involved in what we've got going on. So as you all know, I always turn everything over to Charlie because I'll rattle on. I'm like Rattle Trap 1776, if you know who Derek Johnson is. He'll just talk for 3 hours about same stuff, and I can do the same thing. So I'm going to turn it over to Charlie, who will keep us on track here today. So Charlie, all yours, my friend.
Thank you, Dana. And thank you, Buddy, for coming on today.
This is cool.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation that we are about to have. And I know your interests are on issues are very similar to ours. Small government, secure borders, whole variety of things that
Being in the fight.
that we're in the fight every day ourselves with. But before we talk about those sorts of things, what was life like before? Where did you come from? Who are you? Kind of thing, and a little bit about your past before we jump into the political arena.
Okay, let me first say thanks for having me, and it was a happenstance event for me to run across Dana on the phone yesterday.
It was cool.
Dr. Sheila Fury of the Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance was a common associate, and she somehow managed to get those 2 points to connect. I think that's one of the games in play that is a dividend of positivity from actually having a coalition of partners that do encounter one another. But to the point about me. You get a different answer on that anytime you might ask. I don't have a canned response, so
Right.
I'll probably leave something out or put something in I shouldn't. But essentially, I grew up in a family of lower middle class people in Virginia, in Frederick County, in Gainesboro District. My dad was a truck driver. My mother was a housewife. They both passed since. This is in the 60s. We lived in a brick house that was actually brought in on a truck. This is before I was born, but not much before.
Sounds familiar.
So we had a nuclear family. My mother was very religious, but she was also mentally ill. She had a condition known as bipolar disease. We didn't know what that was until decades later, and all the chaos that can come from that. My dad was, he ended up being a radio guy later. He started out as a truck driver, but he got a job at a radio station. So me and my brother both went into radio as a result. Some of the things that we do imaginary wise and playing around came from that. You know, we played radio station on with a cassette deck when we were kids. But my parents had issues with themselves. I think they were both essentially, they were abused children from the Depression era. What they managed to do was heroic. They did not pass the demonic abuse that children suffered from then, that in terms of the physical and sexual stuff. What they weren't so successful was they were not successful in blocking the psychological abuse. So what happened with me and my brother? Now, I had 3 other sisters, 2 older sisters, then me and Brian, and then the youngest, Devin. We were isolated because my dad and mom had some issues getting along with people, and we didn't understand that as kids. So we didn't have a big, large community circle. We live on a road where a lot of our relatives were nearby. And he'd always been the black sheep, and they all knew Mom had problems, but that stage is set. We don't know what's going on. We're just goofy kids.
Right.
And the food was better then, so we had lots of energy. We ended up having an isolated and insulated type of existence. We didn't understand the world, really, because we lived in kind of a fantasy. So we were very imaginative. We made things up. We had an entire universe that we called Funny World. It came from Reader's Digest. It used to be like joke columns in Reader's Digest, and some of them were from this place called Funny World. So we call our place Funny World. But in this imaginary world was all the archetypes of the things that we saw in the world. Satan, tough guys, people that were on the street. We didn't know we were doing it, but we still play that game. We still have Funny World, and we could make a movie out of it. We could make a whole series of movies out of it. But anyway, to move the needle on this answer, so we come up from this insulated kind of loner status. We had some real serious challenges with being in a church because they were static. This was a period of the '60s when young girls wanted to wear go-go skirts and go-go boots, and you don't pull that crap in church. Well, my sisters didn't have any dang sense, and my mother wanted to entitle them and push them, and Dad wanted to restrict them, and they were always screaming at each other. Me and Brian were just watching.
Boy, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, does it? Okay. So they went through their problems, and I ended up barely crawling out of high school with a C average because I didn't care. And if I asked the question, why do I have to care? Then I was immediately branded with an attitude problem. Well, that just made me mad. You didn't answer my question, and now you're insulting me. So anyway, I went right into radio after high school, and then ended up going to college for a year or so. Came back to radio, got married way too young. I was 20 years old. Ended up with that marriage losing my faith. And I will tell you this, I still haven't recovered it, but I'm working on it. And ironically,
he's always there, buddy.
Ironically, it's been studying conservative politics from a trigger email from Dick Armey when I worked at VCU. Mm-hmm. In 2009, he had an email about the Tea Party, and I ended up in the local group and made a small little insertion into community. I'd never experienced that before. Maybe a little bit with community theater because I was a set builder and a sound designer. I've been on stage a few times, but that's years ago. But here's the weird thing. This is what you reminded me of when we were talking earlier, how backwards things are. It was, in fact, politics and a quote, about the Constitution being unsuitable for the governance of any other, but moral and righteous people who were God-fearing and, understood what the path of salvation was, that it was written for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, and then I read Eric Metaxas's book, If You Can Keep It, about, and I ran across,
great writer.
As a Tea Party chairman, I ran across the Center for Self-Governance, which is a Tea Party out of Tennessee that actually found a mission of calling. It had this nuance of the importance that if you're going to be a self-governing people, then you must be self-governed within yourself. And what better plan, what better strata and strategy is to have a moral character trained with biblical principles. And so that is it was a realization. It's to you guys like, well, of course. It was a realization that brought me back closer to faith. And then it was COVID after all this time where we got isolated, and finally I can stay home. I don't have to go to work. And I still work at home, but it's been kind of bad for me because I am not moving around as much unless the weather's good. I became a daily driver of bourbon. I know exactly what bourbon I like now. Well, I didn't need to pick that habit up. So, but during COVID, there's a guy down the street here. He would sometimes come plow the road when it snowed. He said, hey, why don't you come to the men's breakfast? The church won't let us have it there. So let's get some guys on the street. You're welcome to come. Right. So I go. I'd never been to a men's breakfast before. So I had to ask him, why do you call it a prayer breakfast? Because we're there eating breakfast, talking about politics. I don't give a darn about sports. I'm not a sports minded person. I've always been the bookish kind of, pseudo intellectual. Anyway, so I said, why do you call it a prayer breakfast? He goes, Well, we say a prayer and have breakfast. I'm going, oh, okay. I thought they were going to have some spiritual discussions. And by this time, I'm in my late 50s. I've discovered people like Jordan Peterson, which man is phenomenal. Jordan Peterson. And he was just brilliant, dense, very complex. I'd spent years before that, listening to Art Bell. I mentioned that to Dana, learning things that I didn't encounter from other sources. Anyway, so when I asked him this question about the prayer breakfast, and I am wrapping my question and answer up, he says, well, if you're interested in spiritual things, we do a Bible exploration class, and I wasn't going to go into a church. I had terrible experiences at the church as a kid.
You're not, buddy, you're not the only one. I mean, the
congregational life
really
can be
with a lot of people. I still have my faith, but
if you got a bad minister who does not know how to read people, you can. Congregational politics, nasty stuff. You throw mental illness into that in the 60s and early 70s, and then what they believed typically was that you had a demon. Man, that didn't help.
Then they changed it. We talked about Schofield last night.
Right. But the damage gets done, right? And then it's like, so I'll go to a Bible study, and I do, and I've been ever since, every Sunday, unless I'm out of town. And it's really made one of my more constant focuses. We all have these things in our pocket, right?
Government tracking devices. Well,
they're tracking me watching people like Michael Heiser or reading other explorations into textual criticism. Spending a lot of time, my screen time, which pops up. You've spent 12 hours and 37 minutes on screen time this week.
You're as bad as I am, buddy.
Or this day. So that
day.
Yeah. Half the day, so I'm almost done. So by this time, the Tea Party itself had some issues, and I had to resign because they were doing stuff behind my back, and I was trying to be a vice chair for the local GOP, and I had to resign. The state party picked me up, a guy named Bob Keeler. He goes, hey, we need you to help with this with the website and stuff. I ended up doing AV instead, so I'm going to run their Rumble and YouTube channels with the chairman.
So you have your YouTube and your Rumble channel, right?
Yeah, we were on YouTube and doing kind of well, and then COVID hit, and I had Dr. Paul Merrick on, who was
who Paul Merrick is. I'm with you. COVID.
Yeah, and then I started getting strikes from YouTube.
That's what Dr. Sheila did to us.
Yeah. So I said, the heck with it. I am not going to mess with you effers. I'm going to go somewhere else. Went to Rumble.
YouTube. Right.
And so we haven't done YouTube for a while. We just started coming back just a couple months ago. I'm not getting the audience on Rumble that I'd hoped for. So it may be because of my learning curve about.
I will tell you, buddy, it starts. After 3 or 4 months, the Rumble people start picking up, and we're starting to get more people, even though we might put it on YouTube. It ends up, because we do Rumble, and all of a sudden the Rumble goes up, and the YouTube, it starts to catch on. We haven't been doing it as long as you have, but I'll tell you, Rumble's where people need to be.
It's the anchor, but if I can get for like that, one of the reasons we ran across each other is I put together that music video of Just Say No. Right.
Great video.
And I can share it here if you want.
I want you to share it. We're going to do that.
Okay. Well, I should probably get ready to share that out now.
Excellent.
Maybe
I left it open share for you.
Yeah. Let me go find my file real quick and bring it up.
So why don't you do that? And we can, Dana can share how he got started in this.
That's an excellent segue. I think let's go with that, and I'll get my video ready.
And I'll have Charlie do the same. Your story, buddy, your story is a lot like mine. Okay, I had 2 very hardworking parents. Went to private school. My mother was bipolar. There was always a fight.
Really?
Okay. Holy cow!
God.
I did theater. I played with radio. I did music, and I'm sitting here going, "Wait a second."
I'm telling your story.
To say a lot. Yeah. All I have to do with Buddy is say, "Ditto." I'm a dark adopted kid in an all-white neighborhood, and I was in fights all the time because I lived in Baltimore. Okay. And you got the Democrats and you got the Republicans. It wasn't like that back then, as bad as it is now, where people look at you and say, you're MAGA or you're you're an AOC follower. I mean, it's just, but I don't even have to say a lot about me. All I have to do for the most part is say ditto. All my friends were in radio. They were all DJs. Dana did theater. Dana did dance. Dana did all of that stuff. But what's really what got me here, I did my first vote in 1980, voting for Ronald Reagan. My father was a conservative.
God bless
and
you
he
for
would
that.
say, that was just cool. And he said, there were the one, his saying was, the wanna-doers and the gonna-doers are the never-doers. The wanna-doers and the gonna-doers are the never-doers. So go out and do something. And he would say, I am so tired of working my tail off to have taxes taken for our equals. And I was like, for our equals. Yeah, all the people who think that they're the wanna-doers and the gonna-doers who never do, that live on what we're doing. So I was Reaganized.
Well, yeah, Reagan was phenomenal. And you mentioned ditto. Excellent. You got Rush Limbaugh. That's another very
Rush is one of my
guy.
favorites, because we can take out, I could, with half of my brain tied behind my back, Mr. Snerdley. I listened to Rush forever because I did sales. So I was always in my car 40,000 miles a year listening to motivational stuff and Rush Limbaugh. So, but everything that Rush was talking about back then made sense. It was just common sense. If you do this, you're going to lose this. If you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. To me, it was like, that makes sense to me. Didn't do well in school, could have cared less, wanted to get out, between missing school, cutting school, coming in late, and going home early. About 50 days of my senior year, I just wanted the diploma to get out of there. So, ended up in sales, ran my own company at age 24. I was 24 years old, made 106 grand when I was 24 years old selling Rainbow vacuums. Okay.
I know the Rainbow vacuum. I always wanted one, never got one.
Dude, I got a 1964 model that I still use. It's sitting right here.
My parents had the Filter Queen.
You mean the game machine? Sorry, folks.
There it is.
It sucks and it blows. Do you want one? So anyway, I did that. But move fast forward. COVID hit. Yeah. And I was working with brokers and financial planners, enrolled agents, the IRS, the Department of Labor, doing all this compliance stuff, flexible spending accounts, and so forth. So I got a chance to see how brokers and accountants, no two accountants will give you the same story. If you take your tax return into 20 different accountants, you're going to get 20 different people. And then you've got the brokers who are more interested in what they make from your pocket rather than giving you the best service. That didn't go over well with me. Okay. My father was one of those people that said, if I left Dana all my money, what he would do is take all of his asshole friends around the world. Okay. Because to me, it's about people. So COVID hits, I lose my job after 19 years and 8 months. And I thought, you know what? I'm tired of this. I don't believe in COVID. There's no warranty. Okay. They're keeping people in. The churches are open. The churches are closed. The liquor stores are open. The big box stores, everybody's wearing a mask. If it was that bad, we would have gas masks. There's something wrong with us 2 weeks into it.
There is.
So my wife and I started watching everything. I know all about Eric Metaxas. I was reading books from Rodney Howard Brown, The Killing of Uncle Sam, did a lot of stuff with Schweitzer. It just all came together. And I started asking questions because I finally had time to ask questions that I wanted the answers to. So we would be up at 9 o'clock in the morning and go to bed at 4 in the morning, learning everything from spike proteins. And then all of a sudden it was Comarniti, and then Space Force and warp speed and all these other things that a lot of people on here are going to go, huh? Oh, Trump screwed everything up. No, he didn't. He did not screw. He did. Let me tell you, I'm going to say it right now. Whether you like him or not, I don't care about the personality contest. He is saving your butt. He is saving your butt, my butt, and everybody else's butt. One of these days, you're going to go, holy cow, I was wrong. A lot of us have been. So fast forward to 2022, I went to a Reawaken tour down in Myrtle Beach where I got, because I was where you were spiritually, I got rebaptized in Myrtle Beach with Clay Clark. So I met Stella Emanuel, General Flynn, Eric Trump, Gene Ho, Pastor Locke. I met Stella Emanuel, Simone Gold, all of these people that were in the freedom fight. And I'm driving home from Myrtle Beach with one of my best friends, Jamie, and my wife, Barbara. And I said, General Flynn just said, get active. Don't go home and sit on your couch. And I started a small group of Neighborhood Watch.
Okay.
That's what happened. Neighborhood Watch. Well, that was 1 week with 8 people. And I said, we got to meet again. And somebody goes, man, dude, you've already started something. Let's meet next week. By the second week, we called ourselves, well, we're just Mountain Patriots. Well, there was 20 people there. Then we met outside under a pavilion, rain, snow, sleet, cold, heat. We put tarps up, and we had speakers every week to talk about homesteading, farming, holistics, how to get around the jab. Because I know you went through the jab part too, where you either take the jab or lose your job.
That's right. I am not jabbed, and I will not play their game.
None of us. And I even have a card in my back pocket from Charlie Ward. I can't get vaccinated. So that's where it started. So Mountain Patriots started growing. We met every week, and then we started doing conferences. We did 8 conferences, Wake Up Winchester Health and Freedom conferences, had speakers from all over Virginia, Dr. Sheila Fury, Ann Tatus. Let's see, Bobby Eberth came up with her. We've had the sheriff, we've had the county attorney, we've had the commissioner of the revenue, we've had almost anybody you can think of talking about government, what's going on with the government, what's going on with health. We've had farmers, name it. And then we, a couple months ago, decided to, Charlie came into the group about 2 years ago. We do communications. Okay, so we have a net that we run. We're not a militia. We're too old.
Right.
But we have all of the makings of being able to help people out at any time, any place. And it grew from that. A little over 2 years ago, I met Charlie, and I'll let him tell you what happened from there. And then he and I started really ramping up Mountain Patriots, and then we started the podcast. And with that, I'll segue over to Charlie, because we're going to come back into how to save the state on how to say no. Charlie, let's tell everybody a little bit about you and how you got started with this.
Sure.
Excellent. Good
well,
story.
I graduated like the two of you. I had a C- from high school. And I told
under sea level.
I told the guidance counselor I wanted to be an engineer, and he laughed. He laughed, and that pissed me off. So I became an engineer. I didn't learn how to study until halfway through my first year down at Michigan State. My roommate said, "You're going to flunk out. Are you serious about becoming an engineer?" I said, "Yeah." So they said, "Well, you study like we do." So it was 4 hours a night, 7 days a week, and with discipline. And I learned how to study. And then I spent 30 years with the Navy as a civil engineer, building Navy bases, designing Navy bases. And partway through that, I was, well, I guess, I was wondering, why don't I care? I was hearing this stuff on the radio about politics, right. And I wondered, well, why don't I care about this stuff? And then I happened to tune in to Rush Limbaugh.
Okay, there we go.
So
I got into a class of real conservative thinking.
So I got into habit of eating in my car, so I could go out lunchtime and get an hour of Rush.
Right.
And and that just grew on my mind. Then, but life hits, all this other stuff. I didn't do anything, but I just started forming my opinion, listening to a lot of conservatives, and learning what they had to say. We moved out to Loudoun County from Fairfax County in 2000, and I joined the Loudoun County Republican Committee because I just wanted to know what was going on. And my opinion was, and my ignorant opinion, there's nothing going on. I mean, these guys worry about staffing the polls. a little bit about giving a forum for the candidates to speak from. But where is all of the discussion about all of the issues that we're all dealing with?
Right.
So I started up my own group. We meet once a month. We started at the airport until they started charging us for the room. Then we moved it to my house. Just of people in Loudoun County Republican Committee that I had made friends with. And pretty soon we had anywhere from 12 to 25 people coming to my house once a month. My wife and I Annie would provide cookies, something to eat. Pretty soon everybody was bringing a dessert. So at 9 o'clock when we were done, we'd all hang around and have dessert. And I learned how to grab things on the computer and show them on the TV in the living room. And they were coming from townhall.com and some others like that. And pretty soon I was writing little articles to hand out to them. One of the guys in the group was the guy who wrote the article in the local newspaper, the conservative half-page article. And he said, "I'm going on vacation, Charlie. Would you write that for me for the next couple of weeks?" So I said yes, and I enjoyed it. He came back and he said, "Charlie, I'm done. That column's yours now." He said, "I already talked to the paper." So for 4 years, I wrote the weekly column in that Gazette, and I was called everything you can imagine. You probably been called it too.
We just call you Charlie.
Yeah, right. But anyway, I moved out of Loudoun County to Frederick County up here by Winchester. And the paper said, "You can't write anymore because you're not a Loudoun County resident." So I said, okay. So I joined the Loudoun County or the Frederick County Republican Committee and found the same thing as in Loudoun. And then I found out that, well, that's the state rules. They're not allowed to do A, B, and C. They can do E and F. But so there was a set of rules there. So I was invited to join the Shenandoah Christian Alliance in Front Royal. So I went down for a weekly prayer breakfast.
You still
like
do.
You described. And you described it perfectly. We do that same thing. And we had a speaker come one time. Dana and one other person came to talk to us about what they're doing. And what Dana was saying registered with me. It rung true. That was what I wanted to get involved in. So I did. So I showed up and pretty much attended every meeting since then. So, I'm also the commissioner on the Planning Commission now, and all through my Republican contacts. So I'm keeping busy.
Well, there's so much to do with this. I mean, it's whatever basket you fill or whatever space you've got substance to put into it. There's more
exactly.
Yeah.
So I would write articles on the media, on elections, on children, on the Constitution, on Islam, on Marxism, on abortion, on all of these things. I was not told what to write at all. I just wrote what I was feeling, what I heard from Rush, Glenn Beck.
Beck. Yeah, let's not
Here's
forget
another
Glenn
one.
Beck.
Yeah.
The man who lost his way and then came and found it again.
Exactly. Let me just put it up on the whiteboard.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, that's my story, and that's where I am now, and trying to make a difference. And so if you want to, show that video that
I do real quick, Charlie. I just want to make a point for people that are listening, and I'm going to turn it back over to Buddy. I just want people to understand we are just three guys that got connected, and a lot of people, if you've listened to us, none of us really knew what to do. We didn't. We had a feeling something wasn't right, and blindly got into this. So my point is, don't be afraid to just reach out to somebody and say, "Hey, I've got some ideas. This is how you start. This is how you start. You don't really need to know what to do. You just connect with people." And I'll tell you how this happened. All right. And then I'm going to turn it over again to Buddy. We interviewed Dr. Sheila Fury for Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance, who's been a speaker for us many times. And she put out a video that she sent to me. And I listened to it, which you all are about to hear. And I was like, this guy is great. So I reached back, and I don't miss an opportunity. People will say, why you're always busy? Yeah, because this just popped up and I got to follow this up. So within 5 minutes of hearing this video, I commented on the video. Okay, which Buddy's probably already seen. And I'm like, hey, I'm Dana. I'm from Mountain Patriots. This is what I do. This is what we do. You and I have got to connect on this. I've got some ideas. And then I reached out to Dr. Sheila, who said, well, he's Tea Party. You got to reach him here. So I spent within 5 minutes. I called Buddy. Buddy called me back, and we talked for what? Almost an hour and a half last night. Thought
it was long enough for my wife to be irritated with me.
Me too. She said, you've been doing this all day long and now you're on the phone for another hour. But she understands. They both understand the passion that we have for saving America. This isn't just about us. We'll be gone a long time after all of this stuff happens. I'll be dead a lot longer than I'll be alive. I've had more days behind me than I do ahead, and we have to move forward. So this video that Buddy put together, I was like, this is really cool, and I would like to use this for my podcasts. So then he was like, I do podcasts too. And then we started rolling with it. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Buddy, because this is great.
Right.
Folks, this is a good lead in.
So the lead in is what you're about to see is very, very real. It's also entirely fake. Okay. This video was made with an idea and a set of lyrics. And I was pushed by a guy on the committee because we're talking about budgeting for signs. Like, you go to these Republican meetings and they have their ceremonial startup, and then we have a motion for this and we get to business. Oh, you have to wait. That's not on the agenda. There's no living in that. There's no color. There's no dimension to it. I mean, that's what the Tea Party came to be. I actually stopped doing every meeting, a business meeting. We have a meeting. It was just an open discussion forum.
Right.
Because it was just too dry. But one guy, David Owen, he says, do not give me credit for this. So I'm going to say this and say his name. He's going, signs are great, guys. They're just minor psychological efforts, and signs don't equate to votes. No one sees a sign and goes vote. It just doesn't work. Maybe they're influenced, maybe they're reinforced, but no one votes because they saw a sign.
You got to feel it.
Typically, yeah. So it's like, he goes, what you need to do is you need to start advertising on social media. Well, I've done that before. I did it when I ran for office. I had a lot of fun with that. But I haven't done it since, even though we're on Rumble and YouTube with a podcast. It has been consistently every week, except where I miss. Anyway, so so I have that charge. Go do social media advertising. And then a guy that was on my committee, he ran across me at the early voting tent, and he asked me a question. He's former radio guy too. He asked me, "Hey, buddy, are you excited about this?" And I wasn't, and I am not excited. I'm angry. And so I answered him that way. I said, no, I'm not excited. I'm angry. This is bullshit. And it
is.
I didn't know I was going to say that. I didn't,
but it is.
It's like, how much more aggravated demonic nonsense can you nuts push out? It's like enough so I had a visceral reaction. I didn't know it was coming. So then I'm like, okay, we got to do advertising. So and then this past Saturday, I had some song lyrics in my head, wrote them down. You're going to hear them. And then I used some AI tools to play them. And so I should be quiet. So what you can do to have fun with this is watch lip syncing. You'll see that it's not exact because AI tools, while they're amazing, they're not perfect. I'm trying to do share here.
The point is,
there we go.
There's a lot that Buddy and I can do, and this is a start because anything that comes up at us, we can do a song about it. I'm a songwriter and player. My son's a songwriter and player. Charlie is and his wife. My wife is a keyboardist. We all do this. We're going to try some new stuff, but we're conservatives. We have more fun, even when we're angry, than you all do when you're happy.
Well, and they need to go to class to learn to be happy because, man, they're bad at it. All right.
I don't know. There's a big enough class for that.
It's a DNA thing.
I'm going to try to hit play. Let's see if the audio sharing is on. Here we go.
Let me make sure.
All
Give me
right.
a second, buddy. Let me make sure that we can do
There it
the
is.
audio. Let me do the audio sharing because I don't know whether I put that on here or not. So
when I signed in with my account, I saw it. So, but I think you're the
okay,
host
if
of
you
the
got
account.
it on, then let's rock and roll. If not, I'll go back to it. How's that?
All right, I'm gonna hit play. Let's see what happens.
Nope.
On my side.
Nope. I don't hear it.
You don't hear. Okay, we have.
Nope,
to.
it's going to be on my side.
Yeah, you'll have to control that, or I'll go back and look at the share. This
right.
map here, this reject rig maps, is just a value
Love
added
it.
here. I made this one. I said I'll use it in the video. What the hell?
I told you I'm not real good with this, so you guys are going to have to wait for me for a second.
All right, I'm gonna stop the share and reshare to make sure that I'm actually doing it with that musician's audio.
All right, let's see if I can get, okay, noise removal, save my speakers, test speakers, microphone, audio settings.
I found it.
Did you find it?
Yeah, there's a share sound.
Because you've been doing this for 4 years. I've been doing this for a few months.
Well, as you said, we're just having fun. So
we're having a good time, and I'm learning as I go. So again, folks, if you've never done anything like this, just jump in. We have fun with it, even when we screw it up.
So if you hear it, just go, vote no, and I'll know that you heard it, okay? I'm going to hit share. Here we go. Got it shared and play.
Just say no.
Yes.
Cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting is a yes to the land of liberty. Just say no. Cast a big vote no. Well, they say that they're fighting back. Well, we all know it's the same old hateful attack against all that's good for the whole country. While we was asleep, they got in power, and now we're down to the near final hour. Well, I say no. Cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting is a yes to the land of liberty. Just say no. Cast a big vote no. Youngkin gave us a surplus, and these clowns raise taxes. And then they give themselves a big fat raise. It's infringement time on guns again. Infringement on common sense, my friend. Yeah, that's how they always represent. Just say no. Cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting is a yes to the land of liberty. Just say no. Cast a big vote no. Virginia shouldn't be East California. And there's more evil amendments on the way. Take a stand for your state, take a stand for your home, and vote no. Get it done by April 21. Just say no. Cast a big vote no. Just say no. Cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting is a yes to the land of liberty. Just say no. Cast a big vote no. Just say no. Cast a big vote no.
When I saw this yesterday, I just thought, this has got to go everywhere. This has got to go everywhere.
That
and we
was
have
fabulous.
A platform, and then I found out, calling Buddy, that he has a platform. So then I called Adam, who has a platform. And then I called Debbie, who has a platform. And then I talked to Sheila, who has a platform. This could go viral with reels, and the lyrics are incredible. Buddy,
Fantastic.
you're on mute, buddy, but this was excellent. What do you
Thank
think,
you very
Charlie?
much.
I can't wait to share this with everybody I know.
Amen.
So it's on the Virginia Tea Party website. I mean YouTube channel. You can just link from there. It's on Rumble, the Virginia Tea Party Rumble channel. I'm going to make some shorts here shortly that will throw up in the short feeds, which those are very addictive. The funny thing is I don't think anybody's done this, and I'm not trying to be first with anything, but it's like
nobody's done it.
I wrote the song and used Suno to produce it, right? So I have this is how I created the song. I have the lyrics, I print them out. I don't think I've got them in front of me right now. And then I pick my phone up, I go to Suno, and I start singing into the phone. I already had the melody. It's I think my favorite part is, in that part where he goes, Youngkin gave us the surplus and these clowns raised taxes.
I love it.
And then to give themselves a big fat raise.
That's what she's doing.
And then I hit stop, right? And then I do a cover, country outlaw, protest song. And it gives me a couple of versions. I find the one I like. I start sharing it. And they go, I don't know how to share this. How do you so it's hard to share an MP3. So I have to do a video. That's the distribution method. So if you have a link of video, suddenly they get the audio and they have a visual. So what's the visual look like? Well, I'm going with that little thing about, are you excited about this? No, I'm angry about this. So there I am, a country star for about 3 minutes. And I didn't want to write some sort of silly, go vote and, save our country. I kind of did that, but I wanted lyrics. I wanted lyrics that meant something to me.
You're catchy, very catchy.
I have to ask you this. What time of the morning with the notepad did you wake up? Or because that's what happens to me. I'll be like, all of a sudden I wake up and I'm like, wait a second. I got to put that because I'm going to forget.
It's notepad on notepad app, on the phone.
I use notepad a lot for
print
all
it out
kinds of stuff
on my printer. And that was like 7 a.m.
Yeah. Something just hits you and you're thinking about it. And my son's got me back into music again. He's all over Warren County. He's Chris Brundaly, CBD. Can't forget that. You will end up meeting him. But I'll tell you, buddy, this is the kind of thing that is going to make us fun, different, and get our country back. We've got the podcast, we've got the sense of humor, we've got the drive, and we've got the music and to do this.
Well, the key element, and quite honestly, this is where conservatives have consistently failed. I'm not going to say anything you haven't heard before.
Right.
Is we're facts and we're logic. Okay. Yes. We are not message. We are not emotion. And that's a fail. It's just Biden a fail.
It's facts over truth.
And that's also humor. You need humor too. But
thing.
But the thing is, when I say cast a big vote no, damn it, I mean it. What do you want to? You're going to take, and I put this in my last podcast. It's like it's the 250th anniversary of the country.
Why we do this?
The font of source of all of the structure of the republic really much was connected to or came out of Virginia.
Yep.
And is that why you want to destroy us so badly? It's like how embarrassing. I mean, this is the initial seedbed for the free world.
And that started here.
And that's a strategy for them to attack it and destroy it here.
Well, man, I got to throw this in. I met Dr. Sheila.
Yeah.
I met Dr. Sheila. I met my friend Jeanette, who's into all kinds of stuff. Introduced me to Pastor Jack Stagman. He is First Landing 1607 Project.
Okay.
Yeah. That's Port Henry coming up the James River, the cross for 3 weeks, the prayer. We're going to rededicate America. That's where they dedicated America on April 19th, 1607. Well, that led me to Dr. Sheila. Okay, so all of us have kind of interconnected with this. and made it happen. But you're right. We Charlie and I, and he can fill you in on this. He does it better and quicker than I do. But we have the Liberty Man because we have the 250th anniversary coming up, and we wanted to give people the real truth of what it was like and what people went through in 1774, 75, 76 to write a Declaration of Independence because we have had it. Just say no. And then these guys put it together, and then we started a podcast with it. What we'll also end up doing besides music, my wife and I used to be, when it was funny, Saturday Night Live fans.
Yeah.
She and I do all kinds of Saturday Night Live skits. We'll take something we hear we'll take something we hear and then we make a skit out of it and turn it upside down and backwards and make people laugh with it,
Yeah.
And it's only 3 or 4 minutes, so there's a lot that goes with this. So Charlie, tell us a little bit about what we're doing that Buddy led into on the 250th anniversary, because this is a big deal, folks.
Yeah, we started with Larry Johnson, who is a member of the Shenandoah Christian Alliance with me, and I had been going around with him for a small number of his teachings. He goes around and teaches the children in public schools if they'll have them, which some won't, but they generally do. Private schools, homeschooling groups, and he talks about his family, which was in North Carolina, and he has documented a lot of stuff about the family. Abel Johnson was his great-great-great-great-grandfather that fought in the war, was swept into the war. And so he's able to give it life, to give it a sense of humanity of what's going on, what went on back then, and mix it with the facts of history, because history to me was too often just a recitation of places, dates, and things, and not as interesting as it is when you find out how people are suffering. So what I did with him is I have a George Washington uniform, and so I would come along as George Washington, and I just be his arm candy. I mean, I wasn't part of the
No heels.
education. Yeah, right. And but I show up as George and I talk a little bit, but not a lot. And Larry is the consummate teacher, a history professor, a former bishop in the Anglican Church, worked in the White House with the White House, and the governor of North Carolina. He's got a storied past, and you can hear some of that on our first podcast with him. But the idea is to do as many with him as we can in honor of the 250th anniversary. And then we'll continue with others. I'm going to do a George Washington one. Any of the other major figures in history. And we're not going to limit it just to the Revolution. As we can, we'll go up through history to the 250th.
Baseball.
So we'll be talking about the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the World Wars, and something even like Amelia Earhart. Or when we find someone who is what do you call it when you're
expert in history, a historian?
Yeah, you're an expert, but it's your hobby. So you've really gotten into it. Yeah. And so we take what you know and learn. We don't require that you be the person. I'm going to try and be George Washington, but
you do a pretty good George,
that's iffy,
there, buddy.
But we don't need everybody to be the person. Larry is describing it. He's not acting as Abel, but he's dressed in period costume, and he's got all the props that he uses in his teaching.
Right behind him, it's incredible.
Yeah. So
what a storytelling.
So we're coming up on the third podcast of that series, and we hope to make it into something that Larry is proud of and thankful for, because what he wants to do is memorialize his teachings so his progeny can see and hear what he's been telling all of these kids in school. He started this whole project just to educate his own kids,
Right.
and then it just grew in popularity. So he's done hundreds and hundreds of these sessions in various schools. So
And we get it all.
Yeah, yeah,
there's probably 100 hours it's not just what he knows, it's all the props and all of the original stuff that goes with it.
and he's a
Right, yeah.
storyteller on top of it. He can keep
What-
your interest.
I've had people hit me. I was at Frederick County Republican Committee on Tuesday night, and somebody that I didn't know had watched it. He came up to me and he says, "Dana, I've got to tell you, man, I watched that Liberty Man, and that was absolutely incredible. The stuff that I learned." And then his brother comes over to me and he says, "Well, let me tell you something. I do the Christianity version of how everybody learned all the way through history from the Bible." And I was like, well, there's another podcast. I mean, we never run out of material
Right.
when we put this together. And now we can tie music in here with Buddy. We can tie skits in here. We can take what the group of us is doing that our Lord has brought together. And I know he's brought us together for a reason, because I've met some of the greatest people that I have ever met in my entire life. And I know a lot of people at my age, but some of the greatest people I've ever met in the last 5 years, people that I just connect with. Buddy, you and I hit it off last night, man. We could have, like, we had talked to each other for ages. Charlie and I met each other and just kept going from there. And the idea, folks, is to bring other people in, like-minded people that care about this country enough to be able to say, you know what, I want to be involved with Dana and Buddy and Adam and Scott. Scott he's not on today, but he was the chair of the school board. Here's a guy he does reenactments for the Civil War. So we'll be putting some of that in there, because April is Civil War month. Okay. So history of the Civil War. But I want to move a little bit further, Charlie, on this, because we've covered a little bit about the Virginia elections. We got a lot of that coming up. Sheila Fury hit it. We've covered redistricting and just saying no. How did people get into this spot? I know a lot of it has to do with things like people got ticked off at the jab. I want you to tell your jab story, okay? Because this is a big deal. You know, they talk about President Trump being a tyrant or a dictator. Well, did President Trump say you have to take the jab or you lose your job? Did President Trump come out with the Affordable Care Act and say, well, you can keep your job, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your health care, but if you don't get health care, you have to pay for the fact that you don't? That's tyranny. Mm-hmm. That's the complete opposite of what some of these poor people, and I'm going to say poor people, that are following the Democratic narrative aren't getting. You know, we're looking for freedom. You want your body, your choice. Okay, I get it. But you can't have things both ways. And the Mockingbird media has really pushed us with that. And it really became clear around COVID-19, like we talked about earlier, not being able to go to your church, not being able to go to your store, having to stay inside, which they wanted to keep us locked up for 10 years so that they could take the country back. And we heard all of this garbage that is all being proven false on the mainstream media. So I know that you had a real serious story about what happened to you and your job. And if you could share some of that with us, buddy, that would be great, because it really pinpoints what I just talked about.
Well, it put me in the crosshairs of my own conscience. Do I believe this stuff or not? Do I believe this stuff or not? Am I able to process nonsense, or am I going to start second guess and be pressured by people, regardless of who they are, to do something that just doesn't quite add up? And my answer to myself was no. Another no. It's like, this is dumb. I don't trust you people. You're showing me how you can't be trusted, and you're giving away, prizes for getting vaccinated. There's something sick in that. It's like, this should be sober and serious, not pressure and get on board or kick you out and cancel you or whatever else, and make sure you're fired. The whole pattern was obvious. It was a sick, wrong pattern. And I was lucky enough at this point to actually be involved with the Virginia Tea Party, be part of the team that puts their summits together. And then I sit there and I record the summits and I listen to the summits, and I met Dr. Sheila Fury, and it's like, yeah, there's something wrong here. Your spidey senses are correct. So I just made a decision. I don't care. I will be a sovereign state unto myself. I am responsible to answer to God with my life and my body, and I will not turn that over to the state. I will take the consequences of my actions. If I have to be quarantined or imprisoned, I don't care. I will not submit. Because where am I ever called, truly called, to make a sacrifice? My sacrifices are I lose sleep, or I spend money on something that I think is important. What am I have not carried a pack and a rifle. I haven't been ordered to take a line. I'm not protecting the community with my life and my weapon. I am privileged in the sense that of the bounty that exists with the free world. I've been able to actually find a way and find footing through that. My privilege is being an American. My privilege is being born in America. My privilege is having a sense of that, right? So I said, no, I'm not, I don't care the consequences. And that came out, even though you're working remotely, you have to be vaccinated. I said, well, that makes a whole lot of bloody sense. Company policy, you can ask for, a religious exemption. So I did. I didn't really have a religious exemption. I had an ideological exemption. I take care of my own health care, not you. Right. And I'm not turning that over as a condition of employment. Not happening. I didn't make my wife decide that. That was my example. She followed suit. And they never answered my religious exemption. I contacted HR. What's going on with this? Oh, I don't think we're going to be processing any of these. I said, well, why do you offer them if you're not remotely interested in reviewing them and honoring them? Well, because we have to. And I said, ma'am, did you hear yourself? You're part of this. You don't think there's something not quite right here? No. Well, I can't really say. I've heard enough. What do I do? Well, you can submit another one. Fine. So I resubmitted it. Never heard. Meanwhile, I think we were given a handful of months. By this date, you have to submit proof of vaccination or you're fired. So I'm just doing my job, getting along with people. I'm not making an issue. I'm not getting in people's face. I'm not stirring the pot. It's none of my business. I'm just there for money. It's not my program to go preach to them. I'm thinking, and then I don't hear anything, and it's the day of you're gone.
Day of you're gone. This is a God moment. I'm telling you.
So I go back to the stupid email and I start writing. I know you don't care about my position. I'm not presenting you with medical objections whatsoever, but this is my ideological position, and though you have no respect for it, I think it's incumbent upon me to make sure that you at least understand it, or it was presented to you. So I'm writing this, basically a resignation letter. And while I'm writing it, an email comes in where they rescind the policy.
Amazing. That day.
While I'm writing
the letter is the day they rescind the policy.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. In my wife's case, the company had a rule, no one enforced it. People just self-enforcing. It was probably unenforceable.
There's a lot of people that had to go back and, they had to go back and try to get their jobs back. You see what happened to the doctors and the nurses. They were making a lot of money, and you and I talked about this last night. We've lost a lot of friends over this. I lost a friend of mine after knowing him for 57 years, perfectly healthy. All of a sudden he's got myocarditis, and he says he's got CHF. And I was like, what do you mean CHF, dude? He goes, your father had it. I remember the text. Your father had it. I'm like, what is CHF? Congestive heart failure. I said, wait a second. I saw you a couple months ago. You're fine. Did you take the jab? And I know, and he says,
oh, that's a great question. They don't want to admit it. And it's embarrassing to ask. Yeah.
So when he died, his friend calls me, says, Dana, you were his best friend for over 57 years. Paul passed away last night around 4:00 in the afternoon. I just wanted to let you know. And I hadn't talked to this guy before. And I said, did he take the jab? He says, yeah, and his booster.
Yeah, it was a death sentence that they have not been held criminally accountable for mass murder.
That's right.
And there was,
Um,
I think that'll eventually come out. There's just so many things that we're dealing with
yeah.
worldwide.
But see, here's this thing. I'm not, I say I'm working on my faith. I'm not a forgiving man. I can forgive, but I'm not good at it.
I get it.
And I want retribution.
I do too.
I'm not leaning on God's plan. I'm still finding out what that is or what it means for me. But damn it, I want people to be held accountable. I want public executions. I want sentences for treason.
We try
That's
to help
me
you there, buddy. Okay.
Anyway, I have to tell you this because my wife just pinged me. I've been with you guys for an hour. I have to do a sayonara for our call today.
That's okay. But
I want to thank you very much for having me injected in and sharing some of the work I've done.
We're going to do this again.
Yes, we are. I'll have you as a guest on my podcast, right?
Yes, please. Yes.
Say
Both
no.
ways.
Just say no.
Four times.
Just say no.
Yeah, we got 3 more horsemen in this apocalypse run, right?
Yeah, we do.
We're gonna see if we can knock the white one down first. So, but when you go to vote, stop by the tent and say hi to the folks there. They're volunteering their time, and don't give them a bunch of grief. Don't go over and yell at the Democrats. They don't know what's going on.
They don't.
But yeah, take the time, make the drive.
Go over and pray with the Democrats.
Oh, that's wonderful. Watch them shrivel and evaporate like a vampire with holy water. So do I just like say bye-bye and dive out? Or that's what I'm going to do?
Thank you very much.
I just want to say
see you next time.
Thank you. I will say this real quick, and I had the same problem with you with forgiving. It says thou shalt not murder. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill.
I know. Yeah, that's part.
So, I mean, God took people out too because he had to. So have a very blessed day, buddy. You and I will talk together. Charlie and I will wrap things up in a couple seconds because we've got a couple things to talk about. Have a very blessed day, and we will talk again soon, my friend.
Say hi to your wife.
Hopefully that song sounds good on the 22nd as opposed to being a dud of history.
Amen.
All right. Take care, guys.
Have a blessed day, brother.
All right. Bye.
See ya. Charlie, he is fascinating.
He is.
And I just want a couple quick bullet points. If for anybody who's watching this, please share this because a lot of us are wrapped up in what's going on right now, but we wanted to bring Buddy on and talk about his experiences as well, simply because of the fact that most people are long forgivers, but we also have short memories. Do you remember being shut down? Do you remember being forced to try to take a jab? Do you remember having to pay for health care whether you got it or not? Do you remember your taxes going up? Do you remember them taking away your do you remember all of the fights that you put up with in school boards, with boards of supervisors and everything else? They are after our freedom. Mike and Charlie, I'll share this, and I want your feedback on it. This says this is a do not vaccinate card. Okay, I went through the motions to get it, and it says on the back, I am in this is how serious I was back then. I was part of the vaccine control group. I have it. This person must not be vaccinated. So I have, not only do I have this, but we also have letters from back then. We got serious about this. We had letters from back then that made, if any doctor or pharmacist or what have you was going to give you an injection, we had them say, well, I want you to sign this paper that says, if anything happens to me, you and your facility are responsible for any health conditions that could be created by this injection that you're about to give me. Well, I don't know what you have.
You're liable. You're
liable. And the vaccine manufacturers were not. There was no warranty with it. Never, I mean, even a used car lot gives you a 30-day warranty, Charlie, what are your takes on today, my friend? This was great.
I love it. I'm really looking forward to doing more of these with Buddy.
He's a ball.
What I'm interested in doing now, having gone through this sort of an introduction, is to talk about issues. There's a whole laundry list of issues that we need to talk about and educate ourselves and others on. And I like his point of view. I like his worldview.
Yeah.
And I like his attempting to find his faith again. So
Yes.
those are all journeys that we need to help each other be on, and thank the Lord.
And thank the Lord. Well, I'll tell you guys, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please check out the historical podcasts. If you're not on our eye contact list, okay, to get information from Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries, go to our website, which is mtnpats.com, mountainpats.com. If you want to be part of our 250th anniversary and explain what you know about history, or if you grew up right here in the Shenandoah Valley, we'd love to hear your family history. If you want to find out more about the 7 ministries that we have, please take a look again at mountainpatriots.com. If you want to see all the videos, everything is there under Wake Up Winchester. And I will tell you, it takes a little bit to run this. Charlie and I, it's not about us making any money doing any of this stuff, but it does cost us money to be able to pay for a lot of nickel dime stuff that we never realized.
The overhead.
The overhead.
We have overhead.
It's not as cheap as people think. We're not taking money from this. That's never what it's been about. As a matter of fact, we're less than zero when it comes to that. So if you can help us out, be great. We'd be really gracious with that. But
help us make patriotism great again.
Make America patriotic again.
Yep.
We have our 250th anniversary. You know where to reach us. Please also make comments when you see these videos, especially on Rumble, which is what we're trying to move more to, because it gives us a better free speech platform where stuff doesn't get taken down. But even on YouTube, make some comments. If you see something that you'd like to see or hear about that we can cover for you, what guests that you'd like to have, let us know, because we've gotten pretty well connected with quite a few people. We like to try to keep things with people in the Valley because we're a community and we want to try to keep the community here.
But not exclusively.
Not exclusively, but that's what our goal is, to try to keep most of it here. But we want to hear from people. We've had people from New York, North Carolina, Florida, California. We've had people from all over. So with that, Charlie, is there any last words you want to let people know?
No, I think I'm good.
You want to take us out today with a prayer, my friend?
Sure, will do.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful world and this country that you've given us, and the patriots who are willing to care for it. Thank you for inspiring our founders to create this beautiful republic. Please help us to keep it as the aspiring place to live. Please give us the wisdom to do the right things, the common sense to judge wisely, the energy to never give up, and your unending grace in which we take comfort. Jesus, in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Folks, get out there and vote no. Share this everywhere you can. And as Charlie and I always say at the end of every Mountain Patriot podcast that we got from Rick, this one
is in the book.
Have a blessed day.
God bless.
Just say no, cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting is a yes to the land of liberty. Just say no, cast a big vote no. Well, they say that they're fighting back, same old hateful attack against all that's good for the whole country. While we was asleep, they got in power, and now we're down to the near final hour. Well, I say no, cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting is a yes to the land of liberty. Just say no, cast a big vote no. Youngkin gave us a surplus and these clowns raised taxes, and then they give themselves a big fat raise. It's infringement time on guns again, infringement on common sense, my friend. Yep, that's how they always represent. Just say no, cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting is a yes to the land of liberty. Just say no, cast a big vote no. Virginia shouldn't be East California, and there's more evil amendments on the way. Take a stand for your state, take a stand for your home, and vote no. Get it done by April 21. Just say no, cast a big vote no. Just say no, cast a big vote no. Take the time, make the drive, and go vote no. A no on redistricting